Recognition of visitors and delegations. Anyone? Yes, sir. Oh, you're getting my good side, fine.
That's right.
All right.
I'm Ed Whiter from Silver Glen Road. I'm a taxpayer for the school district, but I'm gonna ask Mr. Gannon, I'm gonna ask for your help in this matter. Two things. One, I'm gonna ask that you direct the board, not everybody's guilty of this. Some of you speak very eloquently, and I can pick you up on the videotape. There are others that are monotone. I would ask that Mr. Knoll, our superintendent, speak a little louder so we can hear him. The public has been viewing these tapes, and one of the biggest concerns, there are a few of the members here at these board meetings, they cannot even hear them. So I would ask you as the board president to direct your colleagues to speak in a way that we can pick them up, not that we can't even hear them. They speak in a monotone. And secondly, I ask you as the board president to comply with the open meetings law. I noticed here on the agenda that there are several an amendment to agreement, bus resolutions, et cetera, that these, according to the open meetings law, since the amendment of 2008, they are to be made available to the general public at these meetings. For the longest time, I still have not found these, anything that the board votes on tonight or they have in their packets, that must be made available to the general public. So I ask you, Mr. Jadhan, as the board president, to ensure that the responsible person make these documents available to the general public for their purview, take home, whatever the case might be, because the school district is not in full compliance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Whiter. I will remind everyone, speak from the diaphragm.
I gotta ask, who are these, the public that's viewing these? Are these organizations?
That's not relevant to the request. There is a concern that certain members of the board cannot articulate well. And we are educators. You are educators here. You are assisting the educators. One of the biggest complaints has been our superintendent. You can't hear him. So I would direct that to Mr. Jadhan to have a speaking
I'd like
class.
to know who the complainers are.
Well, it's understandable, Jim, but again, I think the underlying theme is we as the board have nothing to hide. So if we're going to say something, we shouldn't be trying to hide anything. Same thing goes for the agendas. I believe we're in compliance, but again, I would, if we're not, we will look into it. We're certainly not trying to hide anything.
No, and I'd like to clear, you're right. Nobody's hiding anything. It's just to bring that information out so the general public can hear it. That was not my complaint, nor the complaint of others.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Okay. Approval of minutes. Revised from regular meeting, May 18th, 2015.
Move.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes.
Oh,
Unfortunately, the revision is still not accurate. The revision states that Mr. Knoll confirmed that the open meeting law, their process and procedures are in compliance. That is not what happened. Mr. Knoll didn't say anything. What Mr. Jadhan said was, quote, Bob did confirm to make sure that our processes and procedures are correct to go. That's a quote from the video. And so to say what it says is incorrect.
okay, so what would you like I'm trying to find it here.
Me too.
It's on page 2, it's right before board report.
Page 2?
It's a sentence right before board committee report.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Jadon distributed a letter they received from Ms. Lawrence, and Mr. Knoll confirmed that the process and procedure that the board follows to enter into executive session is correct. It should read, Ms. Lawrence, and Mr. Jadhan confirmed that Mr. Knoll has agreed to make sure that our processes and procedures are correct.
May I ask what page
Page 2.
Actually,
Fourth paragraph.
Actually, you know what, I think the easiest fix is just to change Mr. Knoll and Mr. Jadhan, because the essence was I confirmed that the process and procedures that the board followed in our executive is correct.
Well, but what you said was is that,
But it's irrelevant of what I actually said. The spirit of it is that I confirmed it. So I think the easiest fix is to just change Knoll.
wait a minute, did you confirm it, or did you ask Bob to make sure that we were doing it? Because, because in the video, what you asked was, what you said was that you confirmed that Bob is going to look into it and make sure we're compliant.
Oh, I thought we had already confirmed at that point.
No.
Honestly, this happens a while ago, so.
No, but the exact quote was, again, Bob did confirm to make sure that our process and procedures are correct.
Mr. Jadhan confirmed that Mr. Knoll
Would make sure that our process and procedures are
would
correct.
make sure that the process and procedure the board follows into an executive session is correct.
Yeah.
With that modification, can we have a new motion to adopt with that modification?
Move.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Did you get that, Betty, or do you mind taking discussion? You got it? All right. Thank you, Mr. Fleming. Regular meeting, June 2nd, 2015.
Move.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes 6-0, I'm sorry, 6, and that's, is absent. I don't know. So, yeah, because normally she'd say,
You brought your little nice.
I did.
mine's already ripped up.
I can do my, if you like, I can do, my study curriculum. You
Well,
want-
we're still at correspondence and communication.
Okay.
You all set?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
We're a little
Yes, you should have
scattered
in
tonight.
front- You should have in front of you an addendum for the appointment of coaches for football. We'll act on that under 7A1B. Also, at the staffing and curriculum meeting held on June 8th, which I'm sure will be covered under the minutes, I was asked by the Occupational Education Department to distribute this pamphlet of pictures of all the programs that they run, which would be Project Lead the Way, Business Career, Computer Education, Family and Consumer Science, Elementary Computer Technology, and Delta STEM. So I will distribute that, and they had distributed all your names on that. I'll just confirm that you received it. And lastly, it is that time of year where yearbooks are out, and they graciously provided all of you with a copy of the yearbook. So I will pass those around.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Board committee reports.
Oh, I'm sorry, back on communications. In the Friday packet, we got a correspondence about the FOIL requests that have been made, and my question just to you, Mr. Jadon, is the board doing anything in conjunction with the staff to represent the board on that ongoing process?
No, we're treating this like any other FOIL request. FOIL requests come in, administration
Okay.
complies with them in accordance with the law, and,
Okay.
you know, if there's questions or concerns that they need our input on, I'm sure they will, but,
Okay.
you know, normally, we don't even get, you know, I think you get more FOIL requests than the board actually sees. So,
Well, I mean, the pertinent thing there was is that our emails are being foiled.
right,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's great, thank you.
Correspondence and communication.
yeah.
Beth sort of forgot that the meeting was tonight. She's on her way.
I've done that.
She had her days missed.
Okay,
So,
that's all right, I
it's my
will duly
communication.
harass her.
It's my communication.
Do you want to do staffing and curriculum, and then maybe Beth will be here, and then if not, then can,
Yep, that's fine. Okay, so, our staffing curriculum, meeting, we met on June 8th, and, I'd like to sort of digress a little bit. These minutes are very long, and instead of reading them through, I'm just gonna give you some highlights. We received the curriculum cycle report from the Occupational Education, Business and Technology group. And this program is divided into 5 different parts, which they oversee. They oversee family and computer science, business and computer education, Project Lead the Way, elementary computer technology, and Delta STEM. So it's a big program. And I'm just gonna just sort of highlight some of the things that they mentioned. There's gonna be a new course, their Introduction to Business is going to replace a Business and Personal Law, and this class is an MVCC dual credit class. And we're also gonna be getting dual credit through MVCC for our accounting class. They're also going to explore the Project Lead the Way Introduction to Computer Science units for the computer applications classes. And what that means, some of the things that we were talking about in staffing and curriculum were to introduce more coding classes into the curriculum. We felt again that some of the kids got them in Delta STEM in the elementary school. There's a computer science class at the high school, and we're sort of like nothing in the middle school at the junior high. So we're looking at ways to increase some computer coding and some other computer applications material into whether it's an existing program that we do, the existing computer applications course, or whether or not we're gonna introduce a brand new computer science course there. So we're sort of looking at the curriculum next year and seeing where it fits in better. So that's the business and the computer classes. In Project Lead the Way, they're going to take away the magic of Electron, and they're gonna replace it with the flight and space module. So this is in the Project Lead the Way classes. They're going to form a partnership of Project Lead the Way and a speaker series, hoping to connect the students with more businesses in the area and more careers in the area. They're going to investigate ways to reach out for increased female student enrollment in Project Lead the Way, which again is something that we've talked about quite a bit in staffing and curriculum.
Is Project Lead the Way just high school, or is?
Starts in junior high.
Okay, but so like the Delta STEM in elementary school isn't considered part of Project Lead the Way?
Correct. Correct. It's an actual curriculum that they can start in 8th grade.
Yes.
Mr.
I
Hyde,
believe
ninth
they-
grade.
Yeah.
In eighth grade.
8th or 9th grade.
8th or 9th
I know
grade.
it's at the junior high.
Right. They're going to be making some physical changes into the Project Lead the Way classroom. They're going to be upgrading and adding equipment, tools, and materials, and they're going to continue to support the Delta STEM program. So that's basically all of their goals and objectives and their plans for next year.
Lisa, question for you.
Yeah.
The, everything you're talking about falls under one department for
Yes,
us, is that
yes.
correct?
It does.
Okay.
Yes.
Business, technology, computer science,
It's all under occupational
Occup-
education.
oh, it is?
Yes,
Okay.
some of that, so,
That's a pretty
Big
big
department.
department.
it's
And
it's
grow-
it's
gotta be
so
growing, right?
diverse, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 5 different departments, you gotta be very tough to manage, and some of that, I mean, I asked that same question when I got on it, I mean, it's like, you know, some of it is driven by the state. Here's for occupation, this is what you're gonna do, and then, you know, we add, you know, STEM to it and that kind of thing, you know, so, yeah, it's quite something to get your arms around, you know, if
Right.
you're not right in it.
But is it
Yeah.
being managed efficiently, or should it be split up?
No, I would say that it's very efficient. With our department chair, Margaret Weber, and our assistant department chair, Gary Von Dauber, they do a really nice job with the leadership of the department, hosting their department chairs on a monthly basis, and both of them having the opportunity to visit all of the different classrooms from Delta STEM to elementary technology to the business courses, all the way up through the Project Lead the Way courses.
For what it is, I have to agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, and let me also add that this year, talking about growing, we also, for the first time, we added the computer teachers at the different elementary schools were included in this department, as well as the Delta STEM teacher. So, I mean, that was a good thing, since it sort of gave a whole, so sort of like everybody was on the same page in terms of computer classes, so that was good. But, you know, we were very impressed with the whole presentation and the way, like you said, the way they managed it, and they had some good ideas. And in fact, one of the things they talked about, for a plan for the future, an idea they had for the future, was a FIRST robotics team. And this is something that they were, you know, they have, you know, maybe 10 things that was sort of down the road, and we all sort of felt that this was maybe something we should look into maybe sooner rather than later. And they were gonna get back to us and see what kind of funding they would need and resources they would need if we wanted to start a FIRST robotics team, you know, here in Hartford.
That we already have?
We don't have that's affiliated with New Hartford.
There's a pretty, you know, they're looking at some stuff, they're gonna come back to the committee with
That's
some,
great.
with some numbers and stuff.
I'm just a little surprised that you have something like the technology and the Project Lead the Way sort of lumped in with business kind of courses.
courses. I guess that's what surprises me, because my kids have taken a lot of the, if not all, the Project Lead the Way courses, which are, for me, pre-engineering courses and some credit courses going into colleges, and it just seems very different from some of the business skills courses.
It's occupational based, you know, and that's the way
Yes,
the state
yeah.
drives it, you know?
Yeah.
It is different, it is different, yeah.
There
I
is-
was surprised though.
Yeah, there's a really a high level of collaboration between all of those
Yeah.
teachers.
No, I believe that. I'm very impressed with everything they've done. I'm just surprised it's a lot to take on for one department.
I can't imagine, it's like 5 meetings in one.
Thanks.
Okay, so that was occupational education. And then we had a report from the World Languages Department, LOTE, Languages of the Earth?
Other than.
Oh, sorry, languages other than English.
As opposed to.
I like that. Basically what they were telling, they did a whole curriculum update, and basically they were telling us that all of their books are basically, haven't been updated in about 20 years. So they looked at all the elements of an exemplary program. They included discussions, we talked about, they had looked into doing flipped classrooms, and as well as other technology available to enhance learning in the classroom. Mrs. Grimmer discussed World Ready as it relates to teaching languages. And all the courses will remain the same for the 2015-2016 school year. And they had been requesting acquiring Google Chromebooks, French textbooks, and the Digital Value Plus bundle, as well as wireless slates for the classroom teachers. So this was, again, this was upgrading the textbooks in all the languages, because they had been, again, out of date for 20 years. We have been invited, we asked about what these wireless slates were, so they invited us to attend a lesson being taught by the wireless slate, and I couldn't really wrap my head
It's
around it.
basically a small smartboard that you can carry around. It's mobile, and the teacher can write on the slate, and it's projected onto.
So it's a tablet that's connected to
Yeah,
a smartphone.
yeah.
So when's the class we're invited to?
We're gonna do it in the fall, like when we go to,
Fall.
I think,
Oh, cool.
Perry or the high school for our,
If you want us to go to the Perry Pershing or not, so do a site visit or do a board meeting at Perry.
so again, we talked about enrollment. They said that the upper levels are still feeling the impact of the changes implemented a few years ago when we started languages in 7th grade. A lot of the kids finished in 9th grade and for whatever reason didn't go on in the high school, but I think once we changed it and had Spanish 1 or French 1, whoever wanted to be a 2-year program, they continue on through the high school, so that sort of helped enrollment. Within the next 3 years, the numbers are expected to increase in reference to enrollment in the world language classes. So,
Just a couple of things.
Yeah,
I said.
please.
This report was absolutely fantastic. It was one of the best reports I've ever seen. It began with a SWOT analysis, you know, and then went right through the objectives, aligning with the school, aligning with the direction. It was fantastic, right down through the budget of what was necessary for their 7-year cycle. It is important to note though, the one thing that they recognized as an issue, a threat, if you will, was, you know, the new curriculums and the pressure applied to, you know, focus a lot on math and on English and that kind of thing, taking some pressure. So they're basing stuff on that, you know, that there may be some competition for the world languages, and they're watching out for it, which I thought was fantastic. So this was a really good job by the world language.
Great, good to hear.
okay, and finally, we received the updated transition from 6th to 7th grade report. As you may remember, they did a whole survey last year. Mr. Alam and Dr. Levitino talked about some of the issues that they felt the 6th graders were facing transitioning to 7th grade, and they did they put together a transition plan. So some of the things they talked about was that when all the students from the 3 elementary schools come up to Perry, every school sort of did it a little differently. So they were trying to make it all the same now, so it's all uniform, everyone gets a uniform experience when they visit Perry. They're talking about study habits, giving students specific examples on how to, you know, study well. They talked about having a new thing, they talked about having a club fair and a music fair in the fall, in the first week of school. talking more with sixth grade teachers. One of the things Dr. Levatino said was that one of the things what the Common Core did was it sort of aligned better with, sixth to seventh grade, and he felt that the transition, through ELA and stuff was a little bit easier because of the Common Core, because they were already starting to do some of the stuff they usually did in seventh grade, they did it in sixth grade, so that was sort of a positive thing.
It was a good data point.
They come to the school in August, and again, they come in August to get their lockers and to walk around their classrooms, and maybe who's gonna use this opportunity to talk to parents and have a parent meeting there, where he can talk to, them about, the keys to meeting with success at the junior high. So, they had a lot of good ideas on how to help transition the kids from, sixth to seventh grade. Parent meetings are also held in the midwinter to help parents gain insight into expectations at the junior high. So he gave us a whole list of things they're gonna do the week one of school, and meeting with sixth grade teachers, meeting with seventh grade teachers to, help the transition be a little bit better.
Yeah, club fair, music fair, you mentioned
Yep,
that,
club
yeah.
fair, music fair, yep.
Yeah.
Talk to parents a little bit more also about using the parent portal. One of the things that they don't really use that so much in the elementary school, and so at the high school, how to use that parent portal and Infinite Campus and things like that.
This last part, you said parent meetings are held in winter. Is that current or recommended?
That's current, they come, if you're an upcoming seventh grade student, a parent of a seventh grade student, in the midwinter, in January, February, you'll sort of go to a meeting, and they'll talk about what's planned for the junior high.
Any discussion about kind of like the social transition? That seems to be like a big deal for this, for both of my kids that went through that. It seems to be like such a seismic shift in sort of the relationships and the dynamics. Is there any, is part of, I didn't realize it's staffing and curriculum, but was there any talk about maybe some type of transition plan within the guidance department? There just seems to be so much like socially that the kids are just not equipped for when they get to seventh grade, and things just move so fast. I know that we have some programming, but I just wondered if maybe that was something that we examined, just.
I think that with the idea of having that club fair and the idea of having the guidance counselors help with that, I think that the idea is to address that social emotional piece as the students transition to the junior high, so that we can create support for them, and so that they can be closely connected with their guidance counselor. And we also, of course, have the social worker there, and I know that that's made available to the students as well, but certainly that's something that I can note.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a good idea for a forum, because he does have, forums during the first couple weeks, and maybe that could be a good,
Because we do a lot here for the character development and things, and I'm not aware, and I know that there is, I'm not saying that there isn't, but what formal programming takes place at the junior high level, where it feels like now they really have an opportunity to implement some of the things that we worked on at the elementary level for character development, and kind of maybe examples of what that looks like at that level. So.
Thanks,
Just an interesting note, Beth, and although that was, they did a survey of what levels of anxiety, sixth to seventh grade. That was all part of it. Number one, lockers. Getting your new locker. Yeah.
Having a locker next to a boy.
Yeah, right.
That was very stressful for my girl.
It's okay. Finally, we received the upcoming summer curriculum work. Mr. Hyde presented. Summer work includes curriculum alignment process PAP for all teachers. Several departments will be completing summer curriculum projects. The new teacher induction program will be provided to new teachers. Growth mindset workshops will be offered to classroom teachers, and guided reading, revisit, reflect, and renew will be offered to elementary teachers. We talked about Common Core update and discussion, and we're still working on that fact sheet. I guess hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have some information to include in the fact sheet. And that was it for our last Staffing and Curriculum Committee meeting for the year. And thank you to everyone on my committee.
That was great.
And Mr. Hyde.
That was a great deal.
Thank you, guys, I know it's a lot of work.
Hey, there's one thing that came to my attention during this meeting, and I don't know, it's just something for the board and maybe the administration to consider going forward. The 7-year cycle budgets are not put in place until after the budget cycle. So for example, You know, although the world languages had their budget ready to go, what they needed to implement the new cycle, it was done before the budget was passed. And so, you know, I asked Bob what that's about, so I guess we're putting in, you know, some monies to account for that during the budget process. And then afterwards, you know, using the specific numbers to go through. And I don't know if it would just be prudent or appropriate to see if we can get that 7-year cycle done prior to, you know, the budget being passed, so that we've got some actual numbers there, you know, to work with. Just an idea for the Budget Finance Committee coming up and for the administration, I don't know.
Probably a timing issue, right?
Matt?
Kind
Okay.
of. We just had a pilot, I mean, I don't wanna talk about
Yeah,
your
yeah.
curriculum cycle and your process, but if it's a big curriculum area, math, for example,
right.
they pilot it for a year, so that
Before
does
the
happen, so they know which, as you all know, which books to purchase, and then they get a better idea of how much, more specific. But yeah, so if we could move it up, what you're saying is can we move it up in the cycle?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
To the
Instead of just saying,
February
here's 100,000 for each one,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Good, great. Thank you all. BG&T, June 3rd, 2015.
Sorry, I was like, slid in under the wire for the BG&T committee.
Report. That's why I lengthened my staffing and curriculum committee meeting report just to give you time to get here.
Comma, we are, anyway, all right, we met on June 3rd. We went over a number of different items. First, we met with Jessica Dunleavy from the foundation. She and Mr. Blemmer presented a proposed project of future capital project initiative. It was basically a cost sharing for the new scoreboard for the John Heating field. Shockingly, those things are mighty expensive. We reviewed some information necessary to secure a large donor, which would essentially provide matching funds to whatever the foundation raised. So they're looking for some other assistance from Mr. Vanek and from some other big stakeholders, so.
How much are the scoreboards ballpark?
It was like $150,000.
Six figures.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
cause you know, they're like scoreboard, I'm like, what could it cost? And then we throw through the numbers,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
it's fancy, I mean, it's, yeah. It's like got an LED
Go search the
screen
Fenway
and
Park,
it's-
just get a kid out there.
the LED screen, you know.
The liability insurance is probably gonna compensate for that, John.
What the foundation's trying to come up with is the local share.
I just never would have thought it was 6 figures, I would have thought.
Yeah, I know, it was, well, it's also some of the site work too, it's not just the physical sign, it's some of the work that goes along with that. There is a new process for the fire inspection report, and basically, Mr. Morgan went over this, it gives them an opportunity to complete the certification process completely online, so that's a plus. We went over the school safety officer survey that we had discussed both at BG&T and at the full board, that actually went out, I got it in my email today, did y'all see it?
Got it today, yeah.
Anybody else see it?
Just a suggestion, I'd send it out again, a reminder, because I think you'll get a lot more back if you, because people tend to go like I did, oh, I'll get back to that. The survey via email.
Oh, okay.
Well, probably your elementary school, so I got a hard copy. So you probably got
Oh,
a hard
yeah.
copy.
Tells me,
It should have
tells
gone
you that I didn't
to,
look at the kids' sack today.
Frozen up day.
It went out to all stakeholders, so parents, instructional staff, non-instructional staff, our bus drivers. Who am I forgetting? Well, the business office.
So did it get
Everybody.
emailed junior high and high school and then hard copy to the elementary, is that what I heard you say?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd email it again. I just think you'll get more response if you were people again.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to the response. It's a fairly, if you had a chance to look at it, it's a fairly straightforward survey.
It's like 2 questions.
Well, and
Sure.
some,
But I mean, I wouldn't say send the hard copy again, but email again, that doesn't cost
I
anything.
know, I got it,
Email it
I got
again.
it as a
I know,
parent.
I know, because
Can you,
people
can
forget
we
to
just send it out to the BOE?
Sure.
I got it as parent, not as a.
Mhm.
We went through the final report for the Perry Junior High Science Room. I think we talked about this as the last staffing and curriculum as part of the report, but this is the final independent air quality testing, which basically shows there was a very low level of mold score, and what you look for is less mold than there is outdoors, and that's what we've shown. So it's like the poltergeist, that room is clean. We went through the DOT inspection, the bus inspection report, which we had a 99.1% passing rate, so kudos to Mr. Cagliano. The report summarized the results of the vehicle inspection. I believe there was just one bus that had an issue. They took it off and it had already been fixed by the time we received the report. We went over some of the goals that we achieved for 14-15. Implemented the school safety officer program for increased security coverage in the buildings district. We obtained a $30,000 mutual link safety grant to further enhance communications with the first responders. Received a safety grant in the amount of $500 and titanium with honors from Lincoln National Insurance. And we upgraded the security cameras on the school buses in accordance with our plan. Mr. Morgan gave us a final report on the potential for Verizon wireless tower. There was a potential use of the Miles Elementary property, and they said they've been delayed because Verizon has selected another site as their first choice. And we're not even, just so you guys know, we are so far away from putting a tower there. This is basically, we say, okay, you can look at our site, and then they decided not to even look at it. And the meeting was adjourned at 1.
All right, well, thank you, and thank you to the entire BG&T. That's a lot of work you guys do, so
That was
thank you.
fun.
Thank you. And please pass along our congratulations to Mr. Gagliano. That is an impressive safety report.
He's got a good record.
Oh, yeah, he runs tight ship. Okay. Ready?
No,
Okay.
good.
7, new business. A, personnel. 1, appointments. A, substitute teacher list.
It is recommended that the following be appointed to the per diem substitute teacher list. James Caswell, uncertified. Samantha DePietro, early childhood education, birth through grade 2, childhood education, grades 1 through 6, and dance.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes 7-0. B, coaches. There's also an agenda.
It is recommended that the following coaches be appointed for the 2015-16 winter sports season. Girls volleyball, Bill Gardner, head varsity. Girls basketball, Mike Callen, head varsity.
John, I don't know where can I request that we table this because I have some questions about it.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we need a motion to do that?
No, because the motion hasn't come to the floor, so we'll just
Okay. Thank you.
table that pending discussion in executive session on personnel
Yes.
matter. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
C, substitute bus driver.
It is recommended that Scott Kelly be appointed to the position of substitute bus driver effective June 17, 2015, pending satisfactory clearance for employment by the State Education Department.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes 7-0. D, summer school bus drivers.
It is recommended that the following be appointed to the summer school bus driver list. Brian Matthews, David White, Bill Welch, Barb Cavella, Linda Mundrick, Paul Lux, Fred Tedesco, Keith Hanna, Sandra DeSaro, Gary Fountain, David Green, Robin Wheatley, Kirsten Abbey, and Mike Worley.
Move.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes 7-0. E, summer school bus aides.
It is recommended that the following be appointed to the summer school bus aid list. Karen White, Mary Smith, Marlene Bailey, Melody Pickett, Dana Mackey, Lori Dunn, Sue Oden, Robin Wheatley, Tammy Mattis, Mike Worley, and Kirsten Abbey.
Move.
Discussion.
Just, I have a question. I noticed that there's overlap on the two lists. On some days they serve as a driver and some days they serve as a.
Or they some of them have an AM only run for the bus driving, so there'll be a PM aid, or vice versa.
Now, well, along those lines then, how do are we still keeping track of this 25-hour thing? So, I mean, under those conditions regarding part-time, are they Are they getting full benefits? I mean,
I'm not sure. These people all have benefits,
okay.
pretty much anyway. They're bus drivers, so they get the benefits of
Okay.
4 hours. These are our regular drivers.
Okay.
They're not substitutes, so.
Okay.
Good question. If they were, yes, we'd be finding them.
Are they paid at, so I would imagine that, well, maybe I'm wrong, are the monitors, are they paid at a different rate to monitor versus to drive?
Yes.
Ooh, that must be good for you.
Sure.
Enjoy that business office.
That's bus driver, just to keep track and send it off. Then we check that.
All right, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0.
After all that, we better be.
B, bus parking bid.
It is recommended that the bus parts bid for the 2015-2016 school year be awarded on a per group basis to each vendor as listed.
Move. Second.
Discussion.
So these are just pieces that we have on hand? Or is this like a bid list and when we need them, we buy them? We don't necessarily buy everything on this list, right?
And the ones in bold are the ones we're voting on. So do we always do it on price? Is there anything else we consider?
Well, there are other items too, if they don't meet, if the vendor doesn't meet the criteria set forth in our bid document, which is very large, then.
Are they
won't
even on
win.
this list, or
They wouldn't be.
so then
Well,
it's based on?
actually, they would be, possibly, but these, everybody that is on here did comply, the lowest bidder, they met
So we always take the
the
lowest.
requirement.
Most responsible.
Lowest responsible bidder.
You know, if this had come before the VGT, I'd ask the question. Maybe I'm misreading this bid wrong, but it just seems that, you know, if you take a look, for example, brake caliper and pads, Volos, and then the brake valves, Prevost car. So are we actually going, I mean, you know, it's all part of a brake package. Are we actually going to 5 different places to put a brake together?
Well, it would depend on, Mr. Gagliano goes through all of this, and
Yeah.
he's very familiar with the mechanics side.
I'm sure,
So
yeah.
I think that maybe sometimes they only have to replace brake valves, and I'm kind of guessing on that one, but I think that's the case.
Yeah.
That he's only requested the amount of brake valves that he really thinks that he needs. So if he needed a package, so if, what you're saying kind of is if he, brake caliper and pads go along with the same package as the brake valve, then that's how he would package the bid together for that specific item.
Okay.
So if he needed like the steering wheel and the horn, he would put out a bid for steering wheel and horn, not necessarily
together.
steering wheel, comp horn.
Okay, okay.
But we don't necessarily, it's just the price, should he need that particular item.
Yeah, no, it's just, again, it just, you know, I've been there, you know, I would've, but again, I don't know how I put this bid together, I'm just looking at it for the first time, and, you know, anything associated with brakes, you know, I'd want it coming from one spot, for
But
me.
if he bids out an entire brake package and he only needs pads, then we have to buy a brake package.
But if he needed the whole,
I get it, but you can package.
the whole ensemble, that's what you're saying, basically, if he needs the entire
Well,
package deal.
Well, or you bid,
then-
or you just bid at a higher level and say how much, and you add up all these things, and you figure out how much you're gonna need, and then you add it all up together, and the brake pads may be higher here versus here, but the overall package for brake service, you know, is less than the other bidder, when you put all your, you know, your piece,
I'll ask
again, I
Mr.
don't.
He
Actually, I'll-
monitors it, he bids it
yeah,
out based
I'll
on
ask
historical
Mr.
months.
I'll just ask Mr. Gagliano to review
Okay.
how it works best for him. I assume that this is how it is, but it's a good question that I'll ask him.
You can put
You know, are you
it
better
in.
off, you know, I'll just say, you know, ask Pete to look at it. Are you better
I-
off looking at it
and
the
I'm
other
sure
way?
I'm sure I'm just missing something in the bidding process, you know, that I'm not familiar with.
John, is it okay if we put it on BB&T, agenda as opposed to full board?
I don't have a problem with that.
And I'll just review.
That way he.
Yeah,
It's
report out.
easy.
Yeah, rather than
easy
spending
thing
half an
to
hour
just-
Because I have a lot to add to that conversation.
I think nothing.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. C, musical instruments bid.
It is recommended that the bid for musical instruments for the 2015-2016 school year be awarded on a per group basis to each vendor as listed.
Move.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, we should put the reeds on a different bid, I'm just kidding.
French horns are expensive.
G-strings and a drum.
French horns.
Musical, I mean, those brass instruments.
All, is there a motion?
Yes, we have a motion.
Okay, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. Surplus vehicles.
It is recommended that the following 3 vehicles be declared surplus items for disposal. 2002 Ford 350 van, and I won't read the VIN number unless you want me to. 1999 Chevrolet Suburban, and 1980 Chevrolet 3/4 ton pickup.
1980?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty sad.
And no, these are not, thank you for putting this on the back, so I
Yeah.
remember. These are not the pieces that are, these are not the ones that are going from the garage to grounds. These are ones that are
Right.
going out.
Specifically to be sold by, we reviewed it in
Yes.
January.
Just refreshing.
Yeah.
How do we
Yep.
dispose of them?
We either sell them on eBay or, last year we went through Auctions International, and, we did very well that way, but, you know, it depends. These specific years, we'll do what's best.
We went through a whole thing and about like, there was like some third world country that likes to buy.
So that was the
Buses or
buses,
something?
yeah, we did very
So
well
say that
last
again, it goes
year.
on eBay always?
It goes on eBay
Not
or
always,
Auctions
there's
International,
something,
wherever
we
you
have
can.
what's best for us. And then possibly scrap
No,
them.
no, no.
I'll move.
Second.
Discussion.
Sorry, we discussed them.
Premature discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. E, intermunicipal agreement.
It is recommended that the intermunicipal agreement between the New Hartford School District and the Madison Oneida BOCES for the term of July 1, 2015 through June 30, 2016 be approved.
Move.
That's the
Do we have a
second.
Second. Discussion.
So we're talking about the, with BOCES and the attorneys, is that correct? Using attorney services, am I looking at the right thing?
Yes.
Okay. So is that meaning any type of attorney services, or what's it
No,
for?
From time to time, we may utilize them for student hearings, and this agreement is necessary to utilize that.
Okay. So it doesn't replace any of
Doesn't
our other
replace any other
attorneys?
There's no changes from last year, right?
James.
Just the dates.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. F, bus bond resolution.
It is recommended that the bond resolution for the purchase of school buses be approved.
Move.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. G, amendment to agreement.
It's recommended that the Board of Education approve the amendment to the agreement between the district and Mary Mandel, Assistant Superintendent for Business Affairs.
Move.
Second.
Discussion.
And this is just to extend it for 90 days, correct?
Yes. Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. H, resolution of condolence.
The Board of Education of the New Hartford Central School District records with sorrow the passing of former social studies teacher Robert Tam. Resolved that the Board of Education express its sincere sympathy to the family of Robert Tam, and that this resolution be spread upon the records of the district and a copy sent to the family.
Move.
Second. Discussion. He's a nice man, I remember him. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. I, Committee on Preschool Special Education.
The recommendations from the Committee on Preschool Special Education's meeting of May 29, 2015 are presented for approval.
Move.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Passes 7-0. J, Committee on Special Education.
The recommendations from the Committee on Special Education's meetings of May 14th, May 27th, May 28th, June 3rd, June 4th, June 8th, June 9th, and June 10th, all of 2015 are presented for approval.
Move. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
1.
Passes 601. K, 504 Committee.
The recommendations from the 504 Committee's meetings of May 14th, May 27th, June 8th, and June 9th, all of 2015 are presented for approval.
Move. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes 601. 8, other business. Legislative update, ongoing board strategy. Anybody got anything?
When do they go to session this week?
I think
Wednesday, tomorrow.
They, well, the regions, I thought they passed, some clarifying language with regard to the hardship thing for the teacher evaluation, and some, although I wasn't able to gather specifics from the article I read, some shift in how much the, testing would be weighted.
Right, but it hasn't passed yet.
Oh, okay, so that, I thought,
The Board of Regents is projected to talk about it on Monday.
okay, I thought that was
Yeah,
resolved today.
yeah.
Excuse me.
What about, is the legislature gonna do it, vote on anything?
Well, we're hoping they are in session through tomorrow.
For tomorrow?
So we're hoping that they extend that deadline.
Mhm.
Because it has been proposed that the deadline be extended.
So the forum for next Tuesday, which is at Proctor on the 23rd, is for what purpose?
That, I think, will be to talk about, generally about APPR and testing and basically the entire gamut with region over.
What is that, next Tuesday night?
Yeah, did you see the email,
No.
because it
I'll
should
be
come to
voting
the
in
board?
the Friday letter this week.
But there was a thing to sign up and register, I think you needed, if you were
Oh,
going, they
that's
wanted
the
to
yes,
register.
yes,
Right.
Right.
Something.
It's either Wednesday or Thursday,
Oh,
because then I can't make it.
And there are
Tuesday.
seven.
It's Tuesday, the
Tuesday?
23rd.
Well, right there.
Yeah, there are 7 regions who have come out publicly, that are asking for some revisions. So I know that the 7 regions have issued statements.
how many regions are there?
17.
Getting that. Anybody else have other business?
Yes. Just a question and a comment. In the Friday letter, on the second page, we had number 4. And it said, and it was quite extensive from the whole page, but we met with the 3 graduating seniors who spoke about their Hartford experience at the budget hearing in May. I don't know who we met, who's we?
With this, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, and then I can let Bob know about what the meeting, what we discussed at the
Okay.
meeting. We met with the 3 graduating seniors who presented at the budget hearing.
Okay.
Remember, they had some recommendation.
Right.
Totally, okay, I didn't know who we were.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been included. So, and I don't know if that's appropriate for us to be included. The other thing I wanted to say about this was, and it's just a suggestion, and I can speak about my own children who are in their 30s now, but I had a high achiever, a middle achiever, and a low achiever. And maybe you want to speak to 3 different groups of students who are.
We did that in December, document our annual, and the posters. We did that with 3 different levels.
From the Hartford. Okay. One other thing I had to say about this is that you
This
have.
is just another opportunity to call, as requested at the public hearing.
It says that public speaking was also recommended as a possible elective. When we were discussing the scoreboard, we were discussing about maybe the students broadcasting from the booth. That to me is communication, that to me is public speaking, and then you get down further about a speech and debate. To me, those are all together, you can clump those all together into one course. And I don't know if we have the abilities to do this next year, or pilot it, or whatever it is we're gonna do about it. But then we also have Syracuse University, which is close to have field trips to Newhouse, or have someone from Newhouse to come in and talk about public speaking, broadcasting, communication, and speech on radar. Just
What
a
I wanted to
suggestion.
do in that, Paul, was I really wanted to be as pure with what they were recommending. So those, I'm certain that we could talk about through staffing and curriculum during our program review, which we do in the fall. That we could talk about maybe bundling that together as one course, but I really took from each one of the individuals in their purest words of what their recommendations were, so that I was representing them as authentically as possible.
Yeah, I just might look at it along the same lines. I love hearing from the kids. I love the whole presentation. I love the fact that we're talking with them. But along those lines, I think more of a presence, you know, when we are, for example, presenting in Hartford School, you know, we've got much more to offer. We have a special education department. It'd be nice to hear from some special education kids and their success stories on how New Hartford got them into college, or how New Hartford got them into a job, or whatever the case may be, or an English language learner that, hey, without New Hartford, you know, those are the kind of things that maybe, you know, along with Paul's thought process on that maybe I'd like to see at times.
I also think that, I think I mentioned this before, that some of these schools are having student representatives to the board. And I think it's something that we should consider and talk about. I think it would be a governmental lesson for our students to come and watch how a board functions. And I think it's something that we can hear input from the students directly on an issue and have them, you know, and not that it has to be the same person, it could be rotated, but I think it's a good idea, and I think it's something that it's worth a discussion.
Or do we kind of partner with the student council, have, you know, somebody from student, kind of how, like, the union's always here, have somebody from student council
Right,
always here
maybe.
to give a report on some, I mean, I don't want to put work on them, but they could report on the happenings and also, just thought.
I know, again, I think there's a variety of ways we can do it, but maybe it's worth a conversation. And one more thing.
Yep.
Just want to remind everybody, this is our last board meeting of the school year? Correct?
Yes.
So I wanted to remind everybody that obviously graduation's next Saturday. We're gonna be getting, I assume, the seating chart. So don't forget to, and Pam, just to.
Do we have the seating chart tonight?
No, just the one. So we're all gonna meet in the Stanley, lobby probably about, 20 minutes before graduation starts, and everybody should mark their sheet of people that they would like to hand a diploma to. And then what we'll do is we'll give everybody a row to hand the diplomas out, and if you need to have a diploma to that particular person, you'll step in and give the person. So just take your sheet, mark it up, and let's meet and divvy it up before the
Also have
graduation
former
ceremony.
board members and historical tradition of coming up to present their summer job with the diploma as well.
Cool. Is that gonna be marked on the sheet so we know when we get there that that person's already getting one from somebody else?
Just come up and cut.
Okay.
We'll get a tap on the
My
shoulder.
name.
Okay.
It's a tradition. They'll come,
Yeah.
they'll come down to the bottom of the stage, and as that roll's gonna come up, they'll come up and just come in front of you.
Cool. How are we gonna get the seating chart before, or we get?
Friday letter this week.
Friday letter?
Not this week, next week.
Great.
Okay, anything else? Oh, and then what we're gonna put in other business standing items, continuing to work on the, okay. The matrix. Okay, so for executive session, we have the item to discuss the,
Matters leading to the appointment of particular persons.
Okay.
I'd like to invite John Bannon into executive session. I also have two other items, one to discuss several items regarding employment history of particular persons, and to discuss the student's records, which is made confidential by federal law.
okay, a motion. Second. Discussion, favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0, we'll go in 5 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay.
So is the whole board there for graduation?
Still out.
You gonna read the motions? I'm ready. You ready? I'm all packed up and ready to go.
All right, it's recommended that the following coaches be appointed for the 2015-2016 winter sports season. Girls volleyball, Bill Gardenier at varsity. Girls basketball, Mike Callen at varsity.
And the addendum, is that,
Sorry?
isn't there an addendum for the football coaches, or is that a different letter?
I'll have to do that for fall sports season.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry, moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, abstained?
I abstain. I too, like Paul, am fairly close to Mr. Cal.
Okay. So passes 5-0-2.
Okay. And then it is recommended that the following coaches be appointed for the fall, for the 2015 fall sports season. Football, Anthony Rico at varsity, Thomas Powers at junior varsity, Ed Prue at modified, and Bill Gardenier assistant modified.
Move.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0.
And then it is recommended that the amount of $23,256 be allocated for the 2015-2016 confidential managerial salary pool increase.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, passes 7-0. Anything else?
Motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
I oppose.
Against, abstained, passes 7-0. All right.
You can stay here if you want.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Maybe you'll catch like a ghost.